Okay, so I made a little materials run today, and the first place I stopped at was this company right here. They made the leaf springs for my Chevy about 2.5 years ago, and I'm thinking that I got in a bit of a hurry and didn't take into account the thickness of the mount. Let me grab that right here. Yeah, I didn't take into account how thick this is. It's like 5/16 of an inch, maybe 3/8. And I remember cutting these down and then going, oh no. So I stopped by and had them make 2 more that are longer. So what I intend on doing, excuse me, is using 2 bolts and 2 washers to hold the leaf springs to the axle, the lower axle cap, and then I will use the other 4 bolts to hold this mount. So there'll be 2 bolts, and then if there's room, I'll cut these off. Then the other place I went to, let me get the receipt out of the box here. I gotta cover that up. Okay. Reynolds Advanced Materials. And they sell mold making stuff. Now, I have 3 bogey wheels here for the Weasel. This is an original bogey wheel, and the rubber is still bonded to the steel very well. 2 summers ago, the experiment I wanted to do was taking an old bogey wheel, drilling out the 6 rivets, splitting the 2 parts in half, and then making a mold and getting 2-part polyurethane rubber with the pigment, and then mold new rubber onto the bogey wheel. Now that you can't see what's inside, but inside there's a piece of expanded steel which is still hanging on the wall, and I formed it and welded it to the wheel, popped everything into the mold, mixed up the 2-part polyurethane rubber, and this has a shore hardness of 90A. Was like the shore hardness is the same thing as the durometer hardness. It's pretty hard. And it hasn't let go. It's perfect. So if I blow the rubber off of some original bogey wheels, I can rebond newer rubber. Now I also wanted to try an experiment, and I bought white pigment, and you can see the white rubber on this one. Now the Weasel bogey wheels, the steel portions themselves were painted white, but the rubber was all black. I like the contrast there between, or with the white and the green. And let's walk over to the weasel. Okay, so you can see on my weasel here the white paint on the bogey wheels, and the rubber wasn't pigmented white. So that's just, you know, camouflage for the snow. Anyway, I got the polyurethane rubber because in a little bit I'm going to clean up the connecting rods and fit things back together, and pour some rubber in there, the polyurethane rubber, so I can get the connecting rods back onto the shocks. But first thing at hand is we're gonna put these new U-bolts in place. So let's get started. Well, I'm looking at both assemblies here, and this just doesn't look right to me. And I've put 4 or 5 of these Chevys together. This looks correct. So I'm going to undo this side and make it look like this side. And now I remember, see, I'm remembering never needing a 15/16 inch wrench, because on my first Chevy, when I replaced the U-bolts, I got them long like this and cut them off and then used the impact to get the nuts tightened down. So that's what we're going to do right now. I got my cutoff wheel here. And I'm gonna kneel under here because I don't want my face in the same plane as that wheel, because if it lets go, yeah, big problems. All right, here we go. Okay, good. Now get the impact going. Okay. I'll have to probably cut the rest off again. Yep. Okay, that's good. Ow! I just bumped my head on the differential cover. Yeah, so I'll cut those off later. That's the way it's supposed to be. There's enough room to get the nut on the tapered pin for the connecting rod. And so that's a correct assembly there. All right, I'm not going to bore you with taking apart the other side, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm about to tighten the driver's side down, and I have made mention about U-bolt stretch. I had 2 wrenches when I put this side together. 2 wrenches together. I had the 15/16 and this way, and then another wrench interweaved at the front for greater leverage. And I'm a pretty strong person still for my age, and I cranked those things down as hard as I could. Yet when I went to loosen them, it didn't take much. So this is why it's important to check your leaf springs on all of your trucks, your U-bolts I mean, because if they're new, they're going to stretch a certain distance. Wait till the air compressor gets to full pressure again. Good. I'm going to check the fronts too. See, these have even been on here for the better part of 2.5, 3 years. And this one over here just did a quarter turn. But that one's done. It's not going anymore. So I'll have to trim that excess off the bottom on both sides again. Yeah. And I have 2 different tech manuals. One is for first echelon, which is like maintenance, and then the other one is for assembly. And I looked at it just for a moment before I shot this section, and it showed the assembly of the rear axle with the U-bolts and this mount here, and this is correct in this configuration. So it's always best, you know, to look at the Bible and go by what it says. And I'm not talking in the actual biblical sense, but that's a good book too. Just my opinion. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Alright, so we're going to wrap this video up with the connecting rods. They're offset, and you can see this is the end of the torque arm from the shock absorber, and the mount, it's kind of difficult to see without me pointing them out where they are, but they are offset. And what that means is with the connecting rods here. Let's see if I can do this without dropping things. One of these pins has to go this way, and the other one has to go this way. So I'm getting ready to mix up the polyurethane rubber. I have parting wax, which I will apply to the shiny ends, because these things need to twist inside here. And then I've been thinking about it, how I was going to get the rubber inside these holes with the pin in it, and I'm gonna have to repaint anyway. So I sandblasted all the old rubber out of these ends. So what I'll do is I'll probably mix the rubber, fill the cavities full. I've already put tape on them. I guess I put tape on one side. I didn't need to. It's going to have to be opposite anyway. I can fix that. And then I'll lay the I'll insert the pins and come back tomorrow, revisit these about this time, and the polyurethane should be set up. It has a 24-hour cure time, and it has, you know, we can see that the shoulder on the pin sits down inside here, so this also has a shoulder too. So when I pour the polyurethane first and then insert the pin, of course the polyurethane is gonna be displaced and come out of the hole, but it'll give a good seal. And then the wax is so that these things can twist and not grab the rubber. So I'll be right back. This is really great stuff. The only thing that I dislike about this is that I had to buy so much just to do a little bit. This is a two to one two-part. So I've already mixed the yellow jar, and I'm gonna probably need about that much. And I interrupted myself again. I better pour a bit more in there. The thing I don't like about this is that the yellow container has a short shelf life, and then it will start to cure on its own after a little while. So I'm going to have to find some other things to build with this, like the bogey wheels I showed at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to pour 1 part of the curative in, which I think is just about that much. It's a little difficult to see in there. Now, if I don't pigment it, that's what it'll look like. But I want this stuff to be black, make it look like original rubber. That's a good spot. All right, so I enjoy the aroma of this stuff. It's pretty nice. This turns out to be non-toxic and non-carcinogenic. And look at that. That looks like real rubber. I mean, it is real rubber, but it looks like original natural latex rubber. So just tamping it down a bit to get the air bubbles out of there. Okay, so I'm going to fill each one. Just about 3/4 of the distance full. And I learned if I pour it with a small stream like that, most of the air escapes the polyurethane rubber. I'm going to put just a bit more in here. All right. See, there's still a lot in there. I hate wasting it, but what can you do? It's a consumable product. So the parting wax I've already put on the shiny end of this pin has the consistency of coconut coconut cream or paste or whatever the heck that stuff is. Yep, so that's good there. You can see how it all squished out of there. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to get a tool. I use these for doing caulking work on commercial buildings. Just want to make sure that we get a good seal on the back. This one looks good all the way around. Yep, they both do. Yeah, there's no need. Something I learned about caulking commercial buildings is when you think you could improve it just a bit more, that's the time to stop and leave it alone. So that's it for what's going on here. Probably by Saturday I'll be able to install these connecting rods. Alright, so that wraps up this series of videos. Or not series, but this one complete video. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.